show up here. Yeah, wash my hair twice. It's all over the place. See if some folks start showing up here in a few minutes. Means I didn't advertise it. All right. Well, looks like we got one out there. Oh, we're up to two. Sound off as you come in. Oh, hey, Garrett, what do you know? Gotta call you one of these days and figure out things on holsters. I seen you guys hit 5,000 this morning. Hey, Sabater. How's the weather up there in the Dakotas? Is it getting cool up there? It's kind of cool this morning. You notice I got my pullover on. All right, up to 4. So, yeah, it's just a little impromptu chat. I'm sitting here working on some leather this morning. Being that finally I got done with my season out at the Grand Old Post, as we call Fort Laramie. I got some time to catch up. I'm working on leather orders from clear back in December. So if you've had an order from me and you're still waiting, please be patient. I'm working on them. I'm getting caught up. I got some I'm going to throw on the stitching horse here this morning and try to get started on. I found a couple holsters I had just damn near done that I had got buried and I forgot about, but I got one here for a gentleman. And that's been sitting there I finished that one back in June. I just got to do the edges on it. But part of the reason why I've been slow is I screwed up my shoulder, and I screwed it up a number of years ago. I was out at work doing some stuff, and I noticed it started throwing a fit on me one day. Just been progressively getting worse, and not sure if I tore my rotator cuff or what the deal is. The one doc I chatted with said it could be either that or a bone spur. Yeah, I've been busy trying. I didn't have a lot of time. Haven't had a lot of time to do these chats. But anyway, yeah. So my shoulder's been throwing a fit. Otherwise, I would have had these out, maybe a month or two ago, at least a handful more of them. But it was kind of starting to feel a little bit better. And I've been out for the last few days helping guys skin deer because deer season's going on out here in Wyoming. Skinning deer and skinning some antelope. And, I was sitting there pulling hides. And when I pull them, I get them started by knife. And then I just take my elbow and just push them down. And you can peel them real fast doing that. That didn't seem to bother it any. So I thought, okay, well, maybe it's getting better enough I can start stitching. For whatever reason, stitching makes this thing sore as heck. So this little knife sheath that I'm working on right here, I stitched that 2 days ago. And just that little motion, and it's all doing this. When I'm in there doing this and then moving this arm around, pulling thread through, it just makes the shoulder hurt. In fact, just sitting here burnishing this edges is making it sore as heck. So I'm slowly getting caught up. But I'm hoping I can get this batch. I got orders still coming in, not near as strong as I normally do, but I still got them coming in. If I can get all caught up and get everything sold here, I'll get started on another batch. But in the event, being it's taking so long, I know there's going to be people that's not going to want to, not going to be interested in the holsters any longer. So I may have some leftovers, and I got nobody to blame for that but myself. But anyway, keep an eye out. I'll throw the leftovers up on here on a live chat whenever I get everything caught up. And once I get leftovers on there. I'll put them up on live chat. I'll hang on to them for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks. Then I'll throw them up on eBay or Etsy, whichever one doesn't charge the most. I haven't sold anything on either one for a while. So I remember eBay was like 12% is what they took. Felt like I was getting robbed. But anyway, yeah. So that's what's been going on my end. Been working on a couple patterns. Working on getting a pattern set for the 1874 saddlebags, cavalry saddlebags, which I think I mentioned that in a chat before. And I'm going to see if I can get a pair of those turned out and then figure out what the price is going to be on those. The thing about doing prototypes, the spendy leather, I can't really afford to do can't afford to do a lot of prototyping. Todd, yeah, I'm going to be hunting here. I'm waiting for my hunting buddy to get back. This is her knife sheath I'm working on. When I was down in Colorado this spring, never gave it a thought about bringing my hunting gun up. And I'd bought tags. Never gave it a thought. So I thought, well, you know, I'll go back home. I'll get it after I thought about it in the spring. And then the price of gas went sky high. So that my hunting buddy kind of asked me to wait till she got back. So, but I've got 2 deer tags up here in Wyoming because they have a reduced price program for deer tags for does and fawns. So I got that. I paid, I think it's $45 a piece. But anyway, yeah, I ordered them. I'm going to see if I can go fill them. Wasn't able to draw an antelope doe tag because the state shut that down because they're afraid the population with the drought is going to get too low. I don't blame them one bit for that. I can get an antelope anytime. Go back to Colorado and get one. I don't know why my mustache wanted to curl in that bad. Yeah, I'm going to be hunting with my friend out there. She's got an antelope tag and she's got a deer tag. So we're going to go see if we can fill all of them. And then I think she wants to try to learn how to brain tan the hide. So I'm going to teach her that. My buddy, one of my buddies out the fort, he's got some hunters out at his place. So that's where I'm getting my deer hides at. Should have 6 here by the end of the week. Plus I got an antelope hide from another coworker. And he's putting feelers out for hides for me. So I'm going to be tanning hides after I get holsters done. So I may have to shut down on orders for a little while if I get too many hides. Because the big thing right now is storage space. And not knowing. I put in for a couple jobs. I haven't heard anything back yet, but they're permanent jobs. And as much as I hate to leave Fort Laramie, the only way I'm going to get a full-time year-round job doing what I love is I'm going to have to look at another park somewhere else for a bit till I can get back in. You got to play the game. But anyway, yeah, so on the deer, yeah, I've got 2. Got 1 tag in Colorado. I'm going to go try to fill that in December. Naturally, the year I'm up here and gas is high and I'm helping my friend hunt is the year that I draw my coveted archery tag that I've been wanting for a couple of years. And burnt my preference points on it. And by the time I get down there, it's going to be so late in the year that them deer, I don't even know if I can get within 40 yards of a deer. But we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. Just want one nice mule deer buck. That's all I want. I want one nice buck. And I'm not paying out of state prices in Wyoming to get him. I know where there's a few at, but I'm not paying $400. I should have changed my residency. But when you never know where you're going to wind up at, kind of a pain to go change residency, change back. But it's amazing how fast on this you can get these edges polished. I'm just about done with this little thing. I'm not going to bother trying to do the edges on this. It's a real soft leather. It's some of the thinner veg tan that I have. And some folks have asked me about knife sheaths. I can make knife sheaths, no issue. The problem is I have to have the blade. I have to have the blade there or I can't really pull it off. So that way I can make sure it all fits. But this is a nice one that I turned out for a friend of mine. She had a Benchmade that came with kind of a Kydex sheath, and she wasn't real fond of that Kydex, so I promised her I'd make her a nice leather one. It's going to fit on the belt real nice. Oh, there's Dryball Jamie, Granny too. But anyways, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on up in this neck of the woods. It's just getting to that time of year where, I thought I'd get a few days off, and I did take a few days kind of to relax, but now it's back to the grindstone, get the work done. If I remember right. Yeah, this one's fine. I dyed this one, so I just got to burnish the edges. So anyway, I don't remember exactly who ordered this holster, but if you ordered a 5.5 inch single action Army double loop holster, this is yours. As soon as I get into my emails, as soon as I get it done here and find out who it is, I'll be sending you a contact notice. But it's one of those things that in order to really do this leather work and be efficient about getting it turned around, I need to make it my full-time job, but I don't have enough orders to justify making it my full-time job. But come this spring, I may have a big job then. If might be making a saddle for someone out there who's watching the chat right now, or was watching the chat anyway. It's funny, as I bought a saddle tree, I got it sitting here beside me that I was intending to practice on. But with the current price of leather, there's no room for practice. There's only room for production. But yeah, this is the long, monotonous process of just sitting here and polishing edges. Oh boy, when you get them to glass up, they sure look nice. So anyway, anybody else getting started on deer season? Ain't doing any hunting out there? Seems like Wyoming starts real early up here. When I was up in South Dakota, things didn't get started until like November. The reservation season up on Cheyenne River ran December. They ran that for a full month. But I know in Colorado it's going to be the end of October here. So yeah, it's like Wyoming throws them real early, at least in this area. Of course, it's different for different units, but the deer unit I'm in here, yeah, it's real early. Oh, I seen a chat there and I missed it. I want it all. Yeah, Sabater. Yeah, we got antelope going on up here too, and it runs the entire month of October in the area that my friend's going to be hunting at. Of course, she decided to go on a little vacation, miss the first 5 days of the season, so it's going to be a pain getting her antelope at this point. But yeah, they run antelope up here a little strange too. Back home in Colorado, we'd have archery season. Yeah, and right now archery deer's going on in Colorado. I wish I could be back home to fill that tag, but I Can't afford the gas really to do all that. I wish this chat would stay to where I could see it. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna have the joy of brain tanning a bunch of hides. And I've never done antelope before. So Sabater, and you've mentioned brain tanning before. Is antelope about as easy or as deer, or is it a little easier? Cause yeah, I got well, with my friend, she'll have hers. I don't know if she's gonna try to do that herself or not, or if I'm gonna show her on it, but I'll have 2 antelopes to do, and I promised to make her a nice vest. So I got to find some nice trade cloth for a liner. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know it was thin, Sabater. What I found interesting is the hair, at least on the animals that was up here, the hair on the antelope is so much thicker than it is on the deer. Like my buddy that shot the doe, when I went and pulled her off, I mean, that hair was 2-3 inches long, especially down around the butt. When we was out there dealing with them deer, when I was helping skin them deer, their hair was real short. I got to run down to the butcher market and see what the price of pig brains are going for. I used to use eggs because we had a shit ton of chickens, and so always had eggs. But now that I got to buy them with the current price of frickin' dozen eggs, and I use a dozen per hide, and if they're smaller pieces, I'll try to do 2 at a time. Yeah, the current price of eggs, I might go back to doing brains. And it's been a while since I've done actual brains on a brain tan. Oh, that's right, Sabater. They do have trade cloth. I'm glad there's somebody else that knows South Union Mills too. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for reminding me about that. I forgot they had that stuff. I was going to go to Crazy Crow, but I ain't real fond of their prices on some of their cloths. I ain't real fond of some of their cloths either. Yeah, let's see. If I can find some pig brains. See if I can remember if you got to boil them or. I heard some people say you got to boil them. I've heard people say you just throw them in there, and I just took warm water and eggs. No, Stephen. Back home, I got my grandmother and grandfather put up a big carport, and they used fir posts, rough cut fir posts, and so. When I get going, if they're a really tough hide that's not wanting to break very easily, I take it over that fir post, and I got the corners pretty well rubbed around on the one that I use, but just take it over there, and I just start bringing it back and forth. And if you've got anything like membrane or epidermis that you missed, I mean, it just chews it right off. But after you do that one for a little bit on there, then I go over to, I got the old clothesline pole, which was, it's rust red, but I figured it would rub off. It doesn't. And kind of finish it off on there, just keep it moving. But that old fir post, if you, like I said, if you didn't get a good scrape when you did your wet scrape, it'll peel that off real easy. Yeah, Sabater, I know which one you're talking about there in Montana too. But yeah, they're expensive too. And I don't feel like going and raising sheep and making my own wool stuff. I think, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm gonna look into that South Union Mills and see how that stuff plays out. Yeah, because I was just on there the other day looking at some clothing. And they've actually got some really good stuff. I've wore their pants before. Very comfortable. Very historically accurate. Of course, they come up over your navel. But, that was a style back in the day. And I got a tailcoat from them that I bought. And I love that thing. But it was, I think it was one of their prototypes. Because it doesn't have the pockets in the back. It's just got the flaps for them. But I really love that coat. The only problem is that with my pants that I usually wear when I'm at work is they're historic looking off modern patterns. So I got about a 3-inch pooch where my belly sticks out between my pants and the jacket. But I'm hoping I can get a little extra money saved ahead because I'm not going to be buying a gun like I was hoping I would be able to this winter. I'm going to see about buying a couple pairs of pants from South Union Mills to go with my stuff. Oh, excuse me. All right, double check the chat here and see if it's been going. Okay, here we go. So, yes, Ever says hard twist works great for the hide. And Steven says boil the brain and then water and then blender and brush solution on the hide. Yeah, I've tried that too. I don't do them on the rack. I had one friend tell me to do it on the rack. I tried that. Oh my God. That thing was stiff as a board before I even got finished lacing it into the rack. Yeah, I just pull them by hand. Like I said, across that fur post. Yeah, what I was doing is I'd take eggs. I crack a dozen. I take a 5-gallon bucket of water, get it about half full with not real hot water, but fairly warm water. And once I got it in the warm water, then I just sit there and just beat them eggs. Beat the devil out of them. Then once I got them beat up, mixed up real good, then I just take that hide. Hey, there's Santee. Take the hide and throw it in there, and I throw it in dry, so parfleche like. Throw it in there dry overnight, and then come out next morning, and I make the donut on the ring. What the heck do they call that? I can't even think now that process, but yeah, you run it over a pole, make a donut, and you run another pole in there and twist the hell and devil out of it until it's drier and dry again. Ring the hide. Wring the devil out of it, get it nice and dry, throw it back in the solution, wring it again, do that 6, 7, 8 times. And then after that, you're pretty well dead set. Usually by that time of the morning, by the time I get it done 7, 8 times, then it's warm enough in the day that it don't take too long for them hide to dry out as you're stretching it. I found out on a 40-degree day, forget it. God, I sit there and I stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched, and that hide just would not dry. And I finally gave up on it. But there was one, oh my goodness. I thought it was going to be beautiful. I thought it was done. It when you crimped it up, it just fell right back. It didn't feel cool to the skin. And I got done. I was all proud of it. Got up the next morning, and the two butt cheeks were as hard as rocks. So instead of soaking it and doing it all over again, just went and got a damp cloth and laid on those spots for 5-6 hours, and went back and worked on them, and I was able to get them softened up, but not near as soft as the rest of it. But somebody told me when I smoke it, which I haven't smoked that one yet, it's still sitting at home on the fridge. They told me when I smoke it, that smoke will get in there and soften it up a little bit. We're going to find out. All right, catch up on some of the chat here. We're starting to get some folks in. All right. Stephen M says never tried eggs. They were just as good. The only thing is they turn the hide yellow initially. So if you want a perfectly white hide, you got to use a brains. But if you're going to smoke the devil out of it like I do, it doesn't matter. So it'll come out a little bit yellow tinged. The only thing I notice is that eggs spoil faster than brains. So like when I soak them in the solution, my refrigerator at home, I got the shelves pulled out so that when I do it overnight, I can just throw that in there. El Salvador, don't wreck your car over a deer, depending on your car. If you get a better deal out of it with the wrecked car, then yeah, go for it. But yeah, no, the other night when I come back from deer camp, Jesus, I come up to this cattle guard, and it's got fence on both sides, and there's this young whitetail doe, and she could not figure out which way she was going to go. And then all of a sudden, I thought she was going to try to jump over the top of my Jeep. But yeah, stupid deer. But yeah, roadkill deer, that's free deer. Of course, there in South Dakota for a long time, you couldn't pick up roadkill. When I started up in college here, I was going to try to salvage a roadkill just for the meat, because we had a pretty nice little freezer in our apartment there. And the state said, nope, can't do it. And then I think right after I graduated college, they changed something where you could get a permit for it or something. I don't remember, but I know in Colorado, you just got to call a game warden. They come out and make sure it wasn't shot or anything, and then they give you a salvage tag. And then here in Wyoming, I didn't know what the rules were. And one morning when I was going to go sign my paperwork to become a security guard when I was doing security out there at Fort Laramie, got up one morning with my friend, and we was driving to Casper, and not 3 miles. I like that. Not 3 miles from town, here is this beautiful bull elk. I mean, he's 5x5, beautiful elk. One that I would proudly mount on a wall. And I had to be in Cheyenne or in Casper by 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Yeah, it was 9 o'clock because it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Sun went barely up in the sky. And so we left it. They didn't know what the salvage laws were in Wyoming. And come back, it was gone. So I figured somebody else got it. Well, come to find out, the state had come out, cut the antlers off, but they drug it up about a mile up the road and dumped it off there so that it wouldn't bring predators out on the road. And yeah, we found that 2 days later that they'd done that. I was like, yeah, I wished I had And then I found out that I didn't have to be up there in Casper until 11 that morning. So I was a little upset. I could have at least saved a quarter or two off that elk. And he was still steaming. I mean, the 18-wheeler had smacked him probably not 30 minutes before we got there. But yeah, I would have totally took that thing home. Found freezer space for it. Yeah, Sabater, I know up on the res, yeah, that's fair game up there. Well, depending on which reservation you're on, of course. But yeah, most of the time they're free game. They just kind of litter the side of the road. Oh, let's see here. I lost it. And Steven, when I smoke them both sides. So I got a nice little setup for my smoking setup. I've got an old hopper bin, great little grain hopper that Grandpa used to use on a corn cracking machine, and turn that upside down, and then take whatever it was, 4-inch HVAC tubing, and slide that on top of there so it comes out at an angle, and I run that about 6 feet out, and then from there I come straight up, and then I have my hide sewn together into a sock with a about an 18-inch denim buffer in case things go wild, so I don't take a chance of burning the hide. Ran that up there, and then I got a huge tripod that I set up, and I got a pulley on it and run that up with the deer on it, and I'll sit and start that smoker, get a nice little fire going down the bottom of it, and then I'll throw in a bunch of green apple. I really like doing the apple gut. It smells nice. Green apple or anything pithy that I got, which I need to go out and find a bunch of pithy, rotten lumber. Yeah, do that. Get it smoked good on the one side, then I turn it inside out, and I smoke the other side. And then once I get done with that, it's always kind of damp when I take it off. So then I just kind of work it real gently over chair back or whatever, just to kind of, so I don't get real stiff. And then, yeah, then after that, I'm done with it. I'll let it air out for a day or two outside if I can. But then I don't do too much. But this one's ready to go. So as soon as I figure out who ordered it, you'll be getting an email from me. And then I need to get started stitching on a couple others. Screwed up in this one on top that I was going to stitch first. I lost a part of it, and I had to go back in the house and find that part. And oh, hey, what do you know? There's the other part, the other one I've been missing for the military flap style that I got a couple orders on. I'll have to show some pictures of those. I think Garrett's got an order for one, and I think it got enough leather to fulfill that order. Yeah, Sabater, that's the nice thing about running the way the setup I got with that 6-foot pipe coming out the side is that smoke has a little time to cool. But I noticed that as soon as you pull a hide off and it starts getting air, then that tube just turns into a jet. Because all that creosote just catches on fire. But yeah, I do the buffer on there. Like I said, about 18 inches of denim. And I've used a stapler to staple them closed. I've used Elmer's glue. My grandmother's got a sewing machine that'll sew real light leather. So if I'm in a pinch, I'll just put it on there, and especially if it's a hide that's not real symmetrical and don't match up with the crap, then I'll just throw it in the sewing machine. But yeah, that 18-inch denim buffer, that's a lifesaver. And the nice thing about that too is I can take and tie that down tight to the tube, and then I'm getting smoke mostly on hide. But the other thought I had of doing was build a big smokehouse. I just really can't afford to build one of those right now because wood is a ridiculous price. Ooh, it smells like my neat foot oil went a little rancid on me. That's all right. It don't make no difference. Actually, it kind of smells like peanut oil. But yeah, I'm gonna oil this knife sheath that I'm making for a friend of mine, and I don't know what it is about this Herman oak, but it has got some spots that just will not take neat's foot. Kind of like right there in the middle. It's like I have to just almost dip it in to get it to soak up enough, and then I actually think it soaks in from around the spot. But found out fast way to get neat's foot oil into the leather. As soon as you paint it on, go sit it out in the sunlight. It'll keep soaking that stuff up. Yeah, we got. I just neat's footed some of the leather out at work. Gave it some good coats for our Canon stuff, and boy, that stuff soaked it up bad. Man, I thought it turned them two of them pieces that I painted on there a real dark russet. I thought, oh geez, I overdone it. They're still so dry that you fold them over, and I mean, it turns white. So the leather can take a lot of neat's foot. God, I've already been going for 40 minutes here. Saboteur, it depends on how you make them. I use that chrome tan stuff, and I put neat's foot oil on them to make them look a little older. And yeah, it felt like wearing a wet diaper. But I've also worn brain tan pants, and oh my God, it's like wearing a pair of pajamas. They're the most comfortable things you ever wore. Yeah, they are just absolutely comfortable. I love them. The thing of it is, though, after you wear them for a few months, you start to sweat in them, and they start to get stiff, and the crotch always starts to rot out on them. So I was down there at Bent's Ford. I just wore them every day through the summer, and the amount of time I put into a pair of pants, I get about 2 seasons out of a pair of pants. So you get about a year out of them if you wore them every day. But it got to a point in the summertime, if it got over 95, I just go put on a pair of cloth pants, because you just sit and sweat and sweat and sweat in them deerskins, and then you go to take them off, and you'd be like peeling off wet leather. It don't want to turn loose. Well, and the neighbor's rat dog is out barking. Oh, that thing is annoying. All right, get this kind of finished painted up here, and then I'll run outside and put it out in the sunlight, get it to soak up a little bit of more oil. All right. You know, Saboteur, I thought about doing that, but the idea of my ass cheeks hanging out is what turned me away from that, especially when that breechcloth gets to turn into a giant wedgie. I know guys that do it. It ain't for me. I was at one of the events down at Benson, and one of the guys was wearing leggings and a breechcloth down there, and I was walking up behind him behind the staircase, and I made the mistake of looking up, and his breechcloth had kind of moved to one side. You never unsee that. Oh, God. That's where you're about ready to stab your eyes out. Guess I need to look at the time here right quick. Oh, 10:32. Yeah, I can run for about another 30 minutes. Then I got to run out and see if I got any more deer I got to skin. Yeah, us pure pasty white boys don't look good in leggings. Yeah, Sabater, you ought to come back down to Fort Laramie, see about volunteering. We could always use somebody to tell the Native American side of the story. Have somebody play out here during one of our events. And if you got the old traditional style leggings and all that good stuff, man, you'd fit right in. Howdy, Diane. Thank you. Oh, let's see here. It's a good thing I took a look in here. I got 3 more that I forgot people had ordered. I got to take these in and punch some holes on them. But, oh, spiders. Eesh. Hate spiders. Okay, what do I got here? I got 2 half flaps and a Colt. And yeah, that guy I just talked to the other day. So I gotta get his in, get his done. Add this to the, actually I better take that inside and take it downstairs to add it to the pile down there. It's amazing what happens when you start looking what all you find. See, yeah, I'm at 47% on my battery. Oh, let's see here. I got enough time to start stitching, so I'll just kind of finish up here. But yeah, pretty thankful. I got a nice little garage out here to work in. And it's the time of the year where I can actually do some stuff out here. Usually in the summer, God, it's so damn hot out in this thing. But yeah, I got my stitching horse out here. Got a saddle that's the one I was gonna practice on. I may still practice on it. It's I think it's an old Miana style. Yeah, Sabater, and if you're interested in volunteering out here, we're talking about trying to do a class for folks to kind of teach them how to do like the living history, especially first person living history. Right now it's just talk. But if you get a hold of the fort and ask for Casey Osbeck, he's the chief of interpretation and visitor services. Talk with him and kind of see what was going on if you'd be interested. Yeah, but we'd love to have you out here. And hopefully, and I don't know, this isn't official yet, we're talking about doing a fur trade event out there in the spring. And I'm kind of at a point where it's like I really want to come back next year and do that, but I also really want to get a permanent job so I can be employed year-round. So, I don't know. I have to see how it plays out. If I get a permanent job, though, I'm still going to try to make it to that fur trade event. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we've talked about some of the events we talked about doing out there at the fort was like, Company K event, and because Company K was the garrison unit for the 2nd Cav out there in '76. Thought about doing something with that, doing a Civil War event, doing a fur trade era event. All I know is that I'm glad they're talking about actually doing some living history events because they weren't doing them anywhere close to them for the last few years, and it's real sad. There's a lot of potential there. Yeah, Sabater, that would be really cool. I need to start making moccasins too. How much do you charge for a pair of moccasins? Because, yeah, I can. I can stitch pants real good, but moccasins has never been a strong point for me. I usually always go and buy those Desert Sun moccasins. Um, they're the hard sole. The Taos style is the one that I would use because it's kind of just a blandish um, color. But man alive, when you're walking on gravel, I'd pay the $75 to avoid having to sew moccasins every 3 days. One guy, when I worked down at Ben's Fort, he sewed his own moccasins, and he made them out of buffalo. And he'd get about a month out of a pair, walk around in the gravel. He tried deerskin; they lasted a grand total of 4 hours. Uh, but yeah, when they really put the heavy, thick gravel down, they he went to wearing those Desert Sun style hard soles. All right. Well, I've been going for about 45 minutes, and I've got to think about running out to deer camp here next 20 or so. See if they've got some new deer skins for me. And so, Saber, them one pieces, are they the one that the seam goes up the center, up the top? Or is that more of a, are you making more of a, what they call is it the pucker vamp? No, pucker vamp's a two piece. Sailor style. Side seam. Okay. Oh, okay. I know which style you're making now. Yeah. You put your feet together, draw out the pattern, fold them over, and split one side for your foot to get in. I know exactly which one you're talking about now. But I always tried to make hard sole moccasins. When you look at some of the Cheyenne style moccasins, especially down where I'm from, southeastern Colorado, they were the rawhide soled hard sole. They use some pretty good thick pieces of buffalo rawhide. Okay, Sabater, yeah. Yeah, where was I at? I think it was over at Fort Robinson. They had a couple of moccasins on display that were that side seam like you're talking about, but they'd sewed a rawhide bottom onto it, rawhide sole. And I mean, walking around in cactus, I'd like a little extra protection on my feet too. Yeah, Steve, that's the other thing. Yeah, with hard sole, you could replace that as you needed to. And those, when I bought my pair of Desert Suns, the first pair I bought, I paid $75 for those things and I wore them out at Bent's. And so I tried to reline them, and man alive, I ruined that pair of moccasins trying to reline them. So after that, I got to where I get a piece of 8-ounce leather, and when I'd rub a hole in them, I just put that 8-ounce piece in the bottom, start wearing them around, and then once that got a hole, I'd take it out, put another 8-ounce piece, and by the time I got done, I'd have a hole around that big. But one year down at Bent's, they wanted me wearing moccasins, but they wouldn't buy any new pairs. I only had one pair, and so I wore that pair all summer long because we was a little tight on budget. And one day I'm sitting there walking around, and the supervisor comes up to me and he says, "Hey," he says, "you're leaving blood everywhere you go where you're walking around." And I pulled up my foot and I looked at the bottom of my foot, and I'd split the bottom of my foot on a rock. Of course, I didn't feel it because I had such a callus down there. And I'm bleeding everywhere. So he says, "I think I'm going to order you 3 pairs of moccasins." That was towards the end of the season, but I had a new pair of moccasins to finish it out with. Those were the good days down at Bent's. Yes, Sabater, rawhide is extremely slippery on grass, and so is your leather soled, the old-fashioned boots. Oh my goodness, they're slick on grass. That's why you've got to have hobnails if you wear those old-fashioned brogans or boots. Oh, okay, Sabater, that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, just kind of patch it up. Sabater, you should send me an email and we should chat some more because you got some good knowledge there that I'd like to pick at a bit one of these days. Anyway, I'm going to shut this off, folks, because I said I got to run out to I'm going to run out to the deer camp and see if I got some more deer I got to go skin. If not, I've got deer I've got to scrape. I got an antelope hide I got to scrape. And I found out if you let them set for about a day, oh, they scrape real nice. So anyway, it's been good chatting with y'all. I hope I can get time to do some more. If you got a holster order with me, be patient. I'm working on them fast as I can, faster as the shoulder will let me. And it's hunting season, but I'm hoping we get done fairly early with hunting season, and then I can have, about a month there. I can just focus on getting some leather work done. But yeah, see what I can get put out. Anyway, be sure you check out the channel, subscribe to it if you haven't already. Stay tuned and keep your powder dry. Thanks for joining in, folks. Oh, now how do I shut this off?